So it's the beginning of March, and we just had daylight savings time last night, the Saturday night into the Sunday. And this was the spring forward, so you lose an hour. And I cannot begin to to preach uh, the amount of hate I have for daylight savings time, for the fact that we change our time based on our whims, based on political reasons, based on financial reasons. We change our measurement of time, um, and time really is a human concept. As we all know, anybody who's owned a pet, especially a dog, knows that dogs don't have a sense of time. Um, you leave for 15 minutes and come back, and it's like you've been gone a year, and they just go batshit and all that. Animals, nature, uh, time as a factor, as we see it, exists. We just had to name it. As a species, we had to name it, and we had to measure it, because we placed value on it. Beings and nature itself, as far as that goes, time is this thing that happens. It just happens. It's naturally happening constantly, almost at all the time, and that creates a vortex. Time is something that just occurs. It would be interesting if we found another way to define and measure that, because, and that's kind of hard to wrap your head around. I understand that. Um, but here's my problem with it. Here's my problem with daylight savings time and things like that. I really don't like the fact that we are so arrogant as a species that we feel like we can just manipulate time. That our measurement of it, so we gotta have time. We have to have the concept of time. We have to have the measurement of time. We have to do things in relation to that. Don't get me wrong. There's some amazing things that in our evolution that just recently, in our very 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 recent evolution, um, that our measurement of time has allowed. The biggest thing is GPS, um, and with all of our mobile devices, cell phones, computers, and whatnot. If we did not have a very very accurate measurement and sense of time, none of this stuff could work. And that's cool. That's great. But I think time, the big conceptual thing, I don't think we really get yet. And it's going to be, it's going to be we're going to have to progress as a species to really get that. But the fact that our government, our elected leaders, the people in charge, arbitrarily decide to just change the time because it's better for business, because it's better for the economy and stuff like that. I think it's just absolutely so ridiculous. There's this great little there's a quote out there, and honestly I didn't look it up because I didn't know what I was going to talk about when I turned the thing on. That something about a society. We'll never succeed as a society. We can never advance as a society if we're a society that is ruled, that is awakened by an alarm clock. I kind of like that, because I honestly I think it'd be a much happier world for a lot of things. But I mean, for one thing, it'd be a much happier world if we didn't wake up at a pre-prescribed time. I think if we, as a species, were able to go to sleep and wake up when our body told us to, I have a feeling we would live longer, we'd have less disease, We'd have less just health problems in general. We would have much less conflict globally. Because I think people would be more adjusted, just better off. There are night people. There are day people. There are people who are in between. There are people who work great for 4 hours and need to sleep for 3 hours, and then can work great for 4 more hours and need to sleep for 5 hours. And if we could figure that out, I think as a species we'd be much better off. There's a ton of studies that say napping is amazingly productive. That it makes people much more productive, much more focused on their job. That when they get their nap, I'm not a napper. I'm not good at napping. If I take an hour nap, I've got a headache and I'm useless for the next 2 hours. So it's not good for me to nap. But I stay up late. Maybe if my circadian rhythms were in a more natural state. But I don't. There's actually people who have proposed getting rid of time zones, and I like it. I like it for the simple fact is if we get rid of time zones, then we have one time, just one time. Now think of it. What time is the meeting? It's 9 o'clock. 0900 or whatever. If you want to, military time would be much easier if it was like that. It's 9 o'clock. Not 9 o'clock Eastern Central, or 9 o'clock there, or 9 here, 10 there, 11. It's 9 o'clock. What time does the plane take off? Noon. What time does it arrive in California? 4 o'clock. What time will it be when you get there? 4 o'clock. Not noon again. So I don't know. There's merits to the argument, and I think that we've really kind of screwed ourselves with the way that we've divided it up. I think it would be much simpler. What time do you go to work? 2,200 hours. Maybe 2,200 hours is sunrise. Maybe it's not where you are. But it would be so much more intelligent and simple as if we had a universal time. All those things that I talked about with global positioning and computers and things like that. If we had a universal time, think of the resources that could be devoted elsewhere. I know, it's a tough concept to wrap your head around. I guess part of the reason I'm ranting about it is because I watched Cosmos tonight. Yay. Neil deGrasse Tyson picking up where Carl Sagan left off, and Seth MacFarlane, producing it. And I think it's really, really smart of him, because animation is kind of running its course as far as the American population's fascination with it. The Sunday nights on Fox, the animation domination thing and all that stuff. This, I think, since it's going to be on at 9 o'clock on Sundays, it's going to be the first non-animated show on Fox for a long time on Sunday nights. I think it's really smart of Seth MacFarlane. I know it's his passion too, and God love him for it. The man is pretty amazing. I know he's passionate about this sort of thing. But I think it's really smart of him to start divesting from the animation and start moving into other things. I mean, he's done movies and such, but as far as television goes, this is pretty smart of him to do so. But yeah, Cosmos was really, really good, and it's going to start showing on the Nat Geo channel on Monday nights. So if you did not catch it, catch it. Because Neil deGrasse Tyson is a boss. There's no two ways about it. He's just an awesome guy, and he's really good at presenting scientific, intelligent info in a way that's easy to understand. If you have kids, you make them watch it. Just make them watch it, and make that they absolutely have to, 9 o'clock Sunday night or whatever time it's on Monday night. You gotta watch Cosmos, because it's gonna change your brain, and that's good. Anyway, that's about as long as I want to go. I just wanted to rant a little bit, and I'm trying to get back in the habit of this. So be good to each other.